Hello, ladies. How are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Girl Talk. Are you guys ready to have some fun? Because we have a fun topic for you tonight. Tonight on Girl Talk, we are celebrating women. At the end of this program, I'm hoping that if there is any woman watching, anybody catches on to this episode, that you walk away encouraged, inspired, and empowered to be all of who you were created to be. Because we're going to talk about femininity and sophistication. And to have this conversation tonight, I have the epitome. My guest is the epitome of femininity and sophistication. And you're going to learn why in just a minute. So let me introduce you to my new guest. My guest tonight is I know her as Stephanie, Yvon Harper. She is affectionately known as Yvon, a dynamic serial entrepreneur dedicated to nurturing and growing a diverse portfolio of businesses. Ladies, listen closely. Not one business, not two. Okay, I'm gonna just let it rest right there, but okay. She has a focus on tax and financial coaching, real estate, and licensing for an international company. Yvonne is committed to empowering her clients by providing invaluable education and guidance tailored to their unique financial goals. Her expertise is structuring strong business foundations, has earned her a loyal clientele across the country. Beyond her professional achievements, Yvonne is celebrating an inspiring 31 years of marriage to her husband, Timothy. As a proud mother of four, grandmother of eight, great grandmother of two, she treasures family time and embraces her role as a matriarch. An avid traveler, Yvonne's heart belongs to Maui. Maui, the destination she now enjoys exploring alongside her grandchildren, residing in Southwest Ohio. Yvonne seamlessly balances her entrepreneurial pursuits with her vibrant family life, embodying a spirit of adventure and dedication in all that she does. I am so excited to have Yvonne on the show tonight, but I am going to call her Stephanie because that's my name. That's her birth name, and I call her Stephanie.
But for my everyone else, they know me by Yvonne. So you're special because you're calling me Stephanie, but it's Yvonne.
But we're close. We're close enough. I can
Yes,
call her
yes, we
Stephanie.
are.
But for tonight, you know what? I'm just going to respect it. I'm going to respect your business uh, image, and I'm going to call you Yvonne tonight. How's that work?
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Okay.
You know you're special though. You still have some rights though.
I still got some special rights. I love it. I love having some special dibs. Okay.
There you go.
So needless to say, um, I'm going to share with you ladies before we get into it a little bit about femininity and sophistication because I have been attending quite a few women conferences lately. And the theme that has really been coming out in the conferences, and these people do not know each other. This is just the spirit of the Lord. God wants us to know how wonderful we really are, how wonderful He created us, and how amazing a creation a woman really is. And so, as I was preparing for this show, the theme came to me: femininity and motivation. The creation of a woman is so bad that the word femininity is just for you. So let me read you the definition of femininity. So femininity means qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of women or girls. They are attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with women and girls. So I said, let me do a little bit of research on this topic now. Wait a minute. So there's a word that is specific just to us.
Yes.
Is that something?
That's a tough word. Femininity is such a we as women, in looking at femininity, it has very dainty qualities, but there are so many different attributes to go along with that, that the encompassing traits like our greatness, the empathy. I mean, we have the ability to nurture, we have the have sensitivity, grace, expressiveness. It's deep, like you said. There's a lot to go with it, and honestly, we have not even explored uh, what the full approach of it really is to
Right.
us as women. We have not. But the one thing is that is a unique characteristic of it is that it's fluid. So we can be fluidly here, engage over here, and engage over here, and still be within our femininity, even though
Yes.
I've now transitioned here or I've transitioned there, but it still allows for us to be who we are and to take the God given grace and power of what it means to be feminine. Yep.
Part of femininity includes the diversity
Mm,
of responsibilities and tasks that women perform. We are such a pillar
yes.
in our families, in our communities. We do a lot. And I sat down and I was like, okay, for each aspect of the definition of femininity, what are the qualities of femininity? What are the attributes? And what are the types of roles that we as women fill? And for qualities, you've already hit on a couple of them, Yvonne. You're recording stuff. You've already hit on a couple of them. But qualities of femininity include compassion,
Mhm. Yes.
nurturing, wisdom. Don't
Yes.
you love how scripture says wisdom is female?
You
Wisdom
know,
is a
it is.
female designation.
Yes. And it frames us. It does. It frames everything that we do. We're pillars. It
We
stands as a
are.
pillar. So, very big and very deep.
Yes. It
Hmm.
also encompasses resilience, service, and strong household managers. Those are the qualities. Now, attributes include um, bravery, faithfulness, inspiration, and influential. And then roles, obviously, we fulfill quite a few. We were just talking about that diversity. We're moms. Some of us are entrepreneurs. Some of us are professionals and we carry a career. Some of us are community leaders or contributors to our communities. And some of us are caregivers. And some of us are a few of those, multiples of those, right?
Multiples. I think that I don't know how many hats there's a story, um, and it just reminds me of all the hats that we actually put on in a day. And if you remember, it's a child book, and it was the little monkey that was up in the tree, and it looks like every time somebody came by, he'd take another hat, and he took this hat, and he took this hat, and I don't know who it was, but at the end of the day, all the hats, when he pulled all the way back, and you've seen all the different types of hats, and there was not one that was the same. But that's what we do. We wear all of these. That's the fluidness of it. We're wearing all of these things, but they're
Right.
not the same, but they intertwine. So yeah, yeah.
So if you are a woman, I say, let's give ourselves a hand tonight because we are some bad creations.
Yes, we
I'm
are.
telling you, we are. This being a woman is an amazing creation, and this is not to take anything away from the men. The men have their own, but tonight we're talking about the ladies. We're talking about women tonight. So I do want to touch on sophistication because this is a dual topic. And so sophistication, the definition of it is having, revealing, or proceeding from a great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. And so,
Nice.
uh, because I'm in kind of in that fashion business, we're going to add our sophistication. And because we also need to obtain some knowledge to walk in that confident space and a place of expertise to handle all of the hats that we are wearing, we're going to couple femininity with sophistication during this conversation tonight. We got some stuff to talk about. So, my first question to you, Yvonne, what type of things do you do or do you like to do that make you feel feminine?
Okay, so there's one of the topics, I guess, for women as a whole is, and it's something that we downplay a lot because of all those hats and all the things that we're always doing, is self care. Just taking time for
Yes.
self care. And I mean, that can look different to different people, but like for myself, it might just be to, I'm taking myself to lunch. It's wonderful to go to lunch with other people, but just taking myself to lunch and taking myself with a pad and a paper just to be able to be creative during that time
Ooh,
and have a conversation with myself. Being
that
able to
is
take.
so nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's something that we don't get when we're doing all of these other things for other people. We forget about us. But there's some conversations we need to have with ourselves. So
Yes.
being able to do that, that makes me feel good. Being pampered, like going to get, the number of things, like my hair done. I'm gonna tell you, even doing the hair thing, which,
Yes.
I don't do it as much as I'd like to do my own now because spending that time, I pamper myself. It's wonderful to get services, and I love the services, but sometimes I just want to spend an extra little more time than that you can, and just do things myself. I like to go to stores and smell things, like we were saying, to smell good things, and just smell good bath bombs, and set it up, and I have my tray, and I have my book, and I have my music, and just taking time for me with me. And I having the opportunity, to just acknowledge that piece of me, that it's okay. It's okay for me to be able to say, I'm going to carve this time out just for me, and I'm going to make my own self feel special. And it doesn't matter what anyone else is looking for or thinks
That's
about
right.
it. It's for me. So
And
yeah.
I think I know, I feel like self care is just such an area of our lives that we neglect
Mm,
as women. I think we are so busy always caring for everyone else
yes.
that we kind of overlook that and we don't take that time out for ourselves that we need. And I know that a couple years ago, I want to say right after the pandemic, maybe, um, that kind of came to my attention, and I started becoming a little bit more intentional in regards to self care. That I even started doing some self care events with the business because with cosmetics, it's an inexpensive way to kind of do some self pampering.
Yes.
And we have, there are things like you can do, let's say like a clarifying mask or something where you just kind of get to pamper yourself and just kind of sit in it there, like those, like a clarifying mask you can put on and let it dry, go read like scripture or read a book
Yes.
during that,
Yes.
10, 15, 20 minutes that you're waiting for that to finish, and then go back in and take that warm washcloth and clean it off. And there's nothing more refreshing than just wiping your face with the nice damp warm
Oh yes.
washcloth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, something that simple that can bring some relaxation, give you a chance to just decompress and clear your mind. Um, I love that you said take yourself to. I have never thought about that. Now, I spend a lot of time by myself. So being by myself probably isn't the thing for me. But I could see where, especially if like you're on the go, 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 that would be so refreshing.
Yes.
That
Yes.
would be so refreshing. I think my thing is I like to, because I don't get dressed every day
Mhm.
because I work from home. Everything I do is like from home. So for me, it's like roll out the bed, go in the office, get to work. And so I don't get dressed. So for me to get dressed up
Mhm.
helps me with my femininity. And there is just nothing better than a pair of comfortable jeans and high heels.
You know what? And that is really interesting too, because one of the other things that helps me with my femininity is I love to be able to look at outfits and design things for myself.
Yeah.
And then 31 years of marriage, dear, how do I look? How does this look? How does
Right.
that look? And knowing that he's encouraging, he's affirmative,
Yes.
he's telling me that, oh, that looks really good. And sometimes those little things like that, they all play together. They all play
Right.
together. It's okay to know that I think I put everything's together. I don't know. I always talk about the Garanimals back in the day. You get two a hippo over here and a hippo over here, and you put them together, and you have an outfit. And but when you go the extra mile and in being able to try something different, because I
Yeah.
think sometimes we get comfortable, but
Hmm.
there's some things that you might want to try that's a little bit different. Yes, it's going to force you out, and maybe the sophisticated, the heels. That's one of the things. There's a little sophistication there. The jeans
Yes.
might be everyday, but you put a little heels with that. Now I'm a little bit sophisticated. So
I mean,
yeah,
and you can turn a denim, just like your plain casual clothes, into something that just has a little bit more pop. It's going to
mhm,
give you a little bit more confidence. And like you said, it pumps up your sophistication,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, and all of those things come together. And I think we have to be aware of it when we have to be intentional
Yes.
about it too. Um,
Yes.
is these are our traits and attributes that we have as women, but there is a need for us to be able to walk in it in an intentional way, because depending on what's going on at any specific time in our lives, we push that to the backward, because again, all that nurturing and things that we do for others, it pushes it to the back. So we
Right.
then have to be able to pull it back to the front for us to be able to say, hey, you know what? This is for me. Mhm.
And you know what? That's a good point. You know, one thing that we tend to stop doing as we get older. And so after you hear this tonight, ladies, I'm encouraging you, learn how to play again.
Oh, yeah.
Spend some time. Like if you like what Yvonne is saying, spend some time, shop online. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. Go out to the store, shop in person, but put together that outfit or something that's gonna, like she said,
Mhm.
just being intentional. I think we forget to play and explore new things and try new things. I'm doing something funky today with this. Like I'm going with this color, which I've always wanted to see what I look like in like blonde, and I was like, let's try it out. And I actually got a good compliment. And I was like, do you really like it? Because I kind of feel weird about it, but okay. But I was like, let's play a little
Let's
bit
play.
and
Let's play.
I want to
And
try
we do.
something
It's
different.
okay. Yeah, I agree with that. We do have to get back into playing. We have to get back into that because we don't do enough of it. But you know what? As we explore different things, and even in play, children, even themselves, what do? They learn why they're playing. You may learn
Yes.
something totally new, a new interest, a new, direction, a confirmation that like you said, this is the color. You never know, but just playing and being open. And guess what?
Yes.
If it doesn't work, that's okay. There's one more thing to go and play with. Okay,
Now
that goes
you know.
over here,
Now
and
you know.
now we know.
Now
So
you know.
now we know.
Didn't work. Just move on. The earth did not fall apart because you tried something new.
Because you
Like,
try something new. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so you mentioned something a second ago, and you said, um, you talked about picking like smell goods. It's part of your femininity. Like that
Mhm.
helps you with that, right? So I personally know, because you've been a client of mine for some years, that having your smell goods is important to you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my question to you is, do you feel a woman should have a signature scent or at least a go-to smell good?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I feel that that's that pampering. That's also another that's part of my pampering. So when I am dressing up and I'm getting sophisticated in my wear and I have all of the things in place, that fragrance is to seal. So I'm sealing it in at the end with my fragrances. And so Balara, which is one of the things that has been a staple for me, that is my signature smell. And it has been for years. And Lord knows that when it's time, I am Johnny on the spot. I need I need
So
it. I need
this
it.
is this is a true story. I know how important this is to her. So I literally keep it on in stock on purpose.
Mhm.
Am I, have you ever asked me and I did not have it?
Always, always.
Because I know this is her thing, and so I take care of my clients and I'm like, I got it, and I will actually reserve it. If there's more, if there's down to one, I know to hold that one for her, and I have to go and like put some more on the shelf because I know that last one is hers. So so now here's the thing. I have a treat for you
Oh, okay.
because I'm not sure that you're aware of this, but that particular fragrance, and I was hoping to have it for this show because I was going to present it to you. It's just not here yet. But for this season, they have a body lotion in the same scent.
Ooh. Ooh, those are the things. So no, that's a pampering. I'm going to have to get that because that's pampering.
Well, yeah, you got that. It's already on the way. I
Okay.
was hoping to have
Yeah.
it to present it to you tonight, and it's not here yet. But you will now be able to layer your
Nice.
favorite scent
Nice.
because for this it's a limited edition thing, but for the holiday season um they made a lotion, a scented lotion
Nice.
that matches.
Nice.
So yes
Nice.
ma'am. Mm, treat for you.
Okay.
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 Okay. So smell goods are definitely um
Definitely. Definitely.
definitely a thing. Personally,
Mhm.
I don't know that I have a signature scent that I like because I like so many different things. I'm
Mhm.
just a woman, just can't make up her mind. So, but I do like things that are clean, and it really depends on my mood, determines what kind of scent I'm gonna wear. My mood has a lot to do with the scent that I choose. And I have one in particular that when I am feeling like a boss babe, that
Mhm.
is the one I put on. And oh, I got it down. I'm like, we must wear that one today. So there's just a few. And if you do not have a signature scent, or if you are a girl that just loves,
Mhm.
to the smell goods, I would love to pamper you. Come on down to the studio and you can come on back in the beauty room and you can sniff away to your heart's content. We can try stuff out, maybe help you find your signature scent.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you the next question, Steph. Is there a sophisticated woman in your life or ever been in your life that you either look to or patterned your life after?
You know, there are, I don't know how to exactly to say pattern my life after. And I can't necessarily or number it or narrow it down to just one. I have found that there are several independent people that in women in my life that have done different things. So it's almost like having a basket of jewels,
Yeah.
and you have a jewel that this one gave you the ruby, and this one gave you the amethyst, and this one gave you, the topaz or whatever. So I do have, individuals who I can look to. Um, and I learned a lot. When I was first, just for myself in starting out, I didn't have the confidence. There was just confidence. And I have a very wonderful, wonderful friend. Um, and her name is Jerry Murphy. And
Okay.
Jerry was the first person who validated me as being a woman of of that I confidence, my confidence. She would always give me the positive, and she would say words that she would observe when I wouldn't see things in myself. And she would say, "Yep, you can do that, girl. Go ahead. This, do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can." And when I would be even doubting myself, she always allowed for me to vent, to voice those concerns, but then she would come back around and show me how to put things in order. And she would pull out things. See, you can do this. You already have this. You can do this. You can already do that. So she was one of the people that has always been that when I look at the confidence that I have now, she's definitely a pillar to help build that. And then that's the business side. But if we even go back before that, my mother, you know, um, she was always the one, the little things. And I
Yeah.
would watch her. I would watch my mom and I would watch what she would do and I would watch how she would do things. And I learned and I would listen. And I tell you, there are lessons that even more so are right on point that I learned from her as a growing up because she took the time. My mom was very open with us and she would speak to us about different things and she would give us the backstory so
Okay.
that you would know why something was. And I
Yeah.
could ask her questions. And as I grew older, she became my friend. So that took on a whole nother facet of our relationship. But
Right.
I learned so much from her that ingraining that she started as a young child and as a girl, even growing up, even making mistakes where she would take the mistakes and she didn't see the mistake, but she would see me in the mistake and was able to pull those things apart, that's something that was done, but that's not who you are. And
Yeah.
she would take and value you as a person and others and so many. And one of the things, my mom has gone home. She went home in 2017. But
Right.
let me tell you, one of the best blessings that I took away from her, and I still, even to this day, is that the testimonies of how many people she touched and that we had no idea. And people were just coming and said, "Your mom did this. I'm here because she did this. When I didn't have, she did this." And so when I talk about femininity, she was always that lady. She always looked to be that lady and her sophistication. And I was looking not too long ago, I have pictures, and she would be, she's all
Yeah.
there. Yeah, she just had it. So even going back all the way to the beginning, my mom, definitely. Miss
Well,
Mary McQueen.
I
Hmm.
was gonna. I said if she doesn't say Mary McQueen, I'm gonna
Mary
pass out
McQueen.
the
That's
chair
it.
because
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna say I met your mom toward the end of her life, and she embodied sophistication.
Yeah, she
She
did.
embodied
Hmm.
sophistication, and she even toward the end, she left a deep impression in your life. If you had that encounter with her, she was strong. She loved the Lord.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that woman was beautiful. She was
Yes.
absolutely beautiful. And I loved spending time with your mom because when you were around her, it was just so much peace.
Yes. Yes.
There
Yes.
was so much peace surrounding her. And so, um, the level of sophistication. She was a woman, a late, just a beautiful woman. And as you're sharing all of this, even about your friend who had the influence in your life, that's part of that femininity, that influence, being
Yes.
that pillar, and how that is, God made us to be powerful. Look at how those influences change our lives. Look at
Yes.
just your testimony of your friend and what she did for you. You know, I think, like, for me, I couldn't narrow it down either to just one. I thought about the question even for myself. I was like, who would that be in my life? You know, because sometimes you think, oh, would you point to somebody famous? But then it's like, there are famous people that are, influential, and you can look to them and say, oh, that's a sophisticated woman, or she seems like a very powerful woman. But it's very different when it's personal,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
directly impacting you, right?
Yes. And
And
yeah, I agree. I was going to, and say, and it's hard to narrow it down because it's very hard to narrow it down. We look at different jewels in um, our jewelry box, and we will pick out the diamond, and we'll say, "Oh, the diamond, the most important thing," and we'll put that and center it. But the most important, the diamond is one piece, but there are so many different jewels that come together to make our lives as women, and they play
right,
parts. I have, a wonderful friends, that I talked about Jerry. I could say I have another girlfriend named Jill. I have another girlfriend named Janine. I have another with Jeanette. And each one of these people actually have found who we are. But here's the one thing: I can look at what they have done for me, because each one of them, they're so dynamically special to my life. But then they push me to give it back, to not, to others, just to
yes,
reaching out to others. So, because here's the thing that I really, what good is it to have all the sophistication and femininity and just for yourself? What
that's
good is that? It's not. I don't feel like the power that God intended for us to have and use it is just for us. But I think it's another tool that He equipped us with to be able to reach and touch others.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. And I was going to say, every single person, anybody watching this show tonight, every single woman is an influence in somebody else's life.
In
Like,
somebody else's.
you
Yeah.
are carrying power. You're impacting the lives of those whose lives you touch. Um, and you can have a powerful influence. And so I pray that it is a positive, powerful influence in that person's life. And if you're having any thought or feeling of, you know, I'm not doing anything, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, that is so far from the truth. Is so far
Yeah.
from the truth. I can tell you, like I was saying, I kind of narrowed it down to two. The first one is gonna be my mom. And some of you guys, if you watch the show, my mom's been on this show. That woman embodies femininity and
Yeah. Yeah.
sophistication, and I literally rebelled against it because like you were talking about the granimals. Oh, I couldn't match a thing when I was growing up. And my mother, she was so talented when it came to fashion. My mom's almost 6 feet tall. She's like 5'11". She modeled as a teenager,
Mhm.
and she got a scholarship to go to a Fashion Institute Technology in New York. So this is a woman that, fashion was like a thing for her. And if anybody meets my mom, she's sharp.
Yes.
That's one of the
Very.
first things
She
people say
is.
about my mom.
She
When they
is.
see it, they're like, that woman is sharp. So I think my first encounter with a sophisticated feminine woman is probably my mom.
Mhm.
But the person that probably whose life I've patterned mine after is my mother's best friend. And that was my Aunt Andrea.
Mm.
And Aunt Andrea was just amazing. She was fun. She was powerful. She, my career choice is patterned after her because she showed me what being an intelligent woman and she showed me the possibilities of who I could be and what I could do. And she demonstrated. She was a registered nurse, so I became a registered nurse.
Yeah.
And she like owned homes all over the place. She traveled the world. She did so much, and she helped so many people. She had one of the most giving hearts of anyone I've ever encountered. And she was just loving and nurturing. And she's probably one of the only people aside from my mom that calls me by my first and middle name. So, and it was even interesting the influence that she had in my life, even in her passing. Um, I went to, her homegoing, and she was still teaching me, even in her passing.
Wow.
And I'm going to say this, and I don't know if her daughter is watching this. So, Mia, if you're watching this, I want you to know this. This is something your mom did for me because she lived life to the fullest. And that was a lesson that I walked away with at her homegoing because people came from all over, I want to say the world. I want to say the world. Might have been the country, but I want to say the world to have closure and say goodbye. And it was amazing. All the lives of all the people that she touched, and a lot of who I am is because of her. And it's not even in your own family, but it's family to me. So, but yeah, so we as women, that's power. If you didn't know before tonight, now you know. You are powerful, amazing, dynamic creation.
Yes.
Every single one of us. Okay, so I got one more for you before we go tonight, because we've talked a lot about our femininity, but and we've talked a little bit about on sophistication, but there's a specific area where we excel as women, and I think you can help us to perfect that area of our lives. So, one of the qualities of femininity is our strength in managing a household, particularly a household budget. How can we become more sophisticated regarding our finances? Or how can we become more knowledgeable and develop expertise in this area?
Well, now that is that's one of how much time do we have? Because
Well, we're overtime, but we're just hanging out now. We are overtime, but it
all
is
right.
well. It is
Well,
well.
let's.
I know that's a bombshell of a question.
It's a bounce over the question, but
But
let
some
me
of
say
us really we need this. We need to be able to master this area, particularly in this economic environment that we are living in.
okay. Well, I'm going to give you. I'll try and provide and give you the short version, but as a tool, as a tool. So I actually had the privilege of writing a book, and it is called Wait, What Am I Thinking? Okay. And this book has redefined, realigned, and redesigned your life from the inside out. The thing with the book and the philosophies behind it, when it comes to um, putting things in place for the household, and especially with finances, this is think about that it begins with adopting a mindset of patience, preparation, purposeful decision making, and the power to wait. And the acronym that goes along with wait is actually, what am I thinking? The power to wait. So one of those things that goes along with that is that it goes into and it draws upon being able to gain clarity, wisdom, which we talked about, discernment, which
Mm-hmm.
applies directly to how we manage our financial lives. When we talk about the hats that we put on, there's different hats. One of them is financial. That's one of the
Yes.
hats that we
Yes.
wear. So the practice of being intentional to be able to wait and encouraging ourselves to take a pause to reflect on what it is that we are intentionally trying to establish within our finances. Because the goals that we have, specific financial goals, even with that, they have to align with your household's value. Whether that's for a savings, you could be saving for a home, a vehicle, education, um, looking at growing for wealth, for the future, for yourself, or even for your children's for long term generation. But
Right.
that practicing that intentionality, I would say, and I would also say the other thing that we want to do is to take the opportunity as we pause is to gain the financial knowledge and not all at once necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the
Mm-hmm.
important things is that as we wait and we learning how our financial lives are aligning and putting things into place, things change. I don't call budgets. I don't like the word budget. Most people
You don't.
don't.
You don't like the word budget?
I don't like the word budget. Instead of budget, I prefer to use the term spending plan because really that's what it is. A budget is really a detailed spending plan. But budget for many people, when you say that word, is as bad a word as diet. You say diet, that's a bad word.
Okay.
Budget,
Okay.
that's a bad word. You know, people they have blocks because of they think of can't. But a spending plan is really designed to do the opposite. What can I do with my savings, with my
Right.
investing, with my debt management? All of those things come together. And you have to be able to know that there's financial knowledge that is out to be able to help individuals get it and work through complexities of what that plan might look like for that
Right.
individual, but you do it gradually so that you don't have missteps. Sometimes waiting, what am I thinking? Stop to get that information is a great opportunity for you to learn a plan that is going to work within what you're trying to achieve. So whether you're looking at books, coaching, because I do coaching with that, seminars, different courses, all of those things can help you get to your plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with is looking at embracing what I would call delayed gratification. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is because it's going to help us financially cultivate discipline. And that discipline is crucial for your financial management, for your financial plan, and for your future. So, as you apply that to a household budget, practicing that delayed gratification, resisting urges for immediate purchases, or favor of, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to be in favor of taking what I would have taken and maybe save,
Yeah.
invest towards a future goal. And as you prioritize that over the long term, um, especially with savings and investment, you're going to develop habits that are going to help you always stop and begin to ask yourself about what am I thinking about this purchase? What am I thinking about making this financial step before making anything and doing anything, which can identify for an individual non-essential purchases that are really wants that are disguised as needs. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
that.
And so it sounds like some of it is really rethinking your spending.
Yes, yes. And the one thing about spending is that, when you do a spending plan, it is not a one size fits all,
Right.
um, and it is not a one and done. It is something that is going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to need adjusting. But as you take time to look at the steps of how to put it together, each time it comes up for what you can say renewal, new challenges, new living. You if it's two people in a household and you have two people working together, um, but then there's you're blessed with a child. Now we have three. Well, your whole plan just changed and
Right.
dramatically. So you have to be ready to, prepare for unexpected things, but know that this is going to ebb and flow as the changes in our lives. If you're
Right.
young, you have one plan. If you're middle age, you have another. As you reach for retirement and slowing down in your latter year, that's still another plan. So
Right.
each time you're going to have to take and reevaluate the collective vision, if you will, of what was important before. Some things may be a common thread throughout, but other things are going to be definitely something that you're going to have to pull in and, I would say, come to a agreement with those who that plan for the household is going to impact. So, for example, if you have children and there's a change in the household's income, include them so that they understand the process of what's happening, what's aligning with those decisions. When I was growing up, and many of us may have the same testimony, is that, children were to be seen and not heard. That's grown folks' business. That's not for children. And I do agree that there are still lines very firmly. But when it comes to really teaching, and one of the things that's going to teach for our families to not only for just now, but for themselves building those foundations at a young age for them to take into their own lives, is to include them where you can as a
Yes.
collective so that everyone in the family has the financial vision for why we are doing what we are doing. And you might be surprised that they might have an idea. They might ask a question that hadn't been thought about, but just taking time to hold a family meeting, whether it's, just two or four or five, however big the family is, but just to have those discussions around, what we would say a savings plan or budgeting, and what we're saving for and what the financial goals are for our family in future time is going to be something that is going to allow individuals not to have what I call financial dysfunction with their money later on in life. So,
Well,
yeah,
I was going to say you are really, and everybody that comes on the show, they drop some nuggets for us. They drop a little gold for us, and so you're really hitting on some things. And one of them is helping our children and our future generations gaining knowledge and understanding about money and how it works. And I can tell you that is not a skill that is taught in school.
no, it's not.
It's not a skill that's taught in school. And I think a lot of times, you really, and this is just a revelation of my own, you really need to pay attention to the times
Hmm.
and what is going on in the culture, because the game keeps changing.
Yes,
The
yes,
game is
yes,
changing. The game of 1999 and the game of 2024 is very different.
yes. Yes, they are very different. And, even, if we look forward, the game of 2030, if, is going to be a different game. But each
And it's like,
time,
how do you pivot? How do you
yeah,
adjust and go with the flow of the systems that we're living under? You
yeah.
know,
Yes. And it's going to come down to setting those foundational steps. These are the steps that the times may change, but the especially as we're talking about finances and household and being able to pull that in. Um, those are certain steps that we're going to have to subscribe to, that we're going to have to commit to. And again, certain things may change somewhat, but if you have a standard for how we're going to look at different things, um, one of the things that I have individuals when they come in to look at is to be able to understand the value that they need to invest in themselves. When a person
Yes.
comes and they might be facing um, a debt management issue, which seems overwhelming, and it
Yes.
doesn't matter whether it's small or big, it's all in relationship to the person who's carrying it.
Yes.
If you look
Yes.
but you have to, and I try very much in to outline for that person to give them the tool that you're a debt too. You must invest in yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that you are, financially. I greatly, highly recommend it. I encourage it to pay yourself first. In
Hmm.
our household, if we're looking at our family as a household, how we do things, we actually look at what comes in. We are givers into we tithe and we give offerings into our fellowship that we are aligned, because that is something that is a blessing to us to further the outreach of ministry that is helping. So that's a big thing for us. The next thing that I'm always looking at right under that is that we invest in ourselves. There
Yeah.
might be other things that are out there, but that investing in ourselves to make sure that we have the revenues for down the road. Everything isn't for right now, but we can manage through that. And then what that does, it allows for us to know we're important, what we're doing, and how we're investing. Because I don't know, when you're young, I've had individuals say this, that everything that I have, it goes to bills. Everything that I work for, I'm just working for bills. And so you lose a piece of yourself because you don't have value, that you're putting out all of this effort to maintain responsibilities, no matter how they got there, but they're there. You have to be able to realize that there's a piece of me that needs to still have that investment. So
Yes.
whether it's, I don't care whether it's $10 that I'm gonna put aside. I don't care whether I'm going to delay gratification, and what I was going to do here, I'm going to put toward the side for myself, and I'm going to wait and push. Yes, let's figure out a way, and we work to figure out ways to be able to meet the other obligations. But I never think it's a good thing for an individual to forget about themselves. And families need to be able to do that. You need to be able to realize that we're going to do an investment. You have to, because if the only thing that you're doing is working and working and working, and you don't do anything for yourself, somewhere it's going to break.
It's going to
It,
break. Yeah.
it's going to break. So,
And I don't think, and I've listened to a lot of different financial, I don't want to say advisors, because they're not advisors, but just different, presentations.
mhm,
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say to invest in yourself
yes,
as a priority.
yes,
I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. I'll be honest. And I think that's so good. Um, and that people need to hear that and really understand that finances require strategy.
yes,
And that's what you're offering, is helping that person to devise the strategy for their situation. And you can't wing it, and you got to know the rules. There's a lot of rules in
mhm,
this. You got to pay attention to the game, because then the rules of the game change. So there's a lot of information and things that you have to be aware of to really be able to navigate your financial situations in a way that you'll end up successful in those.
Yes. And it's detailed to the individual.
Yeah,
So while there are many strategies, you don't want every strategy. You
right.
want the one that is going to be effective for your situation. So when I work with my clients, that's what we are looking for. I'm looking for the strategy that's going to work. So I have one of the questions that I'm asked all the time is, what's the best software? What's the best program that's out there that I can use to help me with my, financial endeavors? And my answer is the one that you will use, because I can give you a name, but
Hmm.
you can go buy it. But if you're not going to use it, it's not going to be effective for you.
Right.
So it might just be that piece of paper and pen that you're writing down those notes and keeping it up with, that might be the best one for you. Or you might be the person who you see things in color. So a software program might be something that might be effective for you because it's just the way that but it's the one for you, the one that you're going to use. So
Right.
it's very, very detailed. And to your point, pointing out taking care of yourself first, I always use the analogy is that when you fly and you go through the safety procedures,
That's it.
one of the things, what do they say? You
Put
may have an air mask drop.
put that mask on yourself
Put the
first.
mask on, secure your own air mask first
Right.
before you attempt to help others. So that's
Yes.
what you're doing. This is your air mask. So that investment in yourself is part of your own individual air mask. So,
So this has been some good stuff. I know, we are over time tonight. But and there's so much more that we could talk about. We could go on for hours. We've done an hour. We could go on even more. But what we're gonna do is we're not gonna leave you hanging. So if you want to learn more about, or just find out more information about creating a strategy, a financial strategy, I'm gonna just give you some information how you can get in touch with Yvonne. So first, you can visit her website, which is www.focusonfinance.net. So that will lead you to contact information, and you can research a little bit more about her business if you're interested in that. Also, if you want to get started, you can pick up the book. Wait, what
am
am
I
I
thinking?
thinking?
That's correct.
That could be a great place for somebody else to start. So if the book is a place you want to start, you can go to her business page there on Facebook, which is facebook.com/ the Weight Book. Also, if you want to investigate and learn a little bit more about her financial company, focusonfinance.net. You can go to her website there. If you have enjoyed this tonight, or you came to the conclusion, you know what, haven't been giving myself enough attention, and I do not have my own personal scent. If you want to hang out and get a little bit of pampering, or just indulge in a few things for yourself, you want to connect with MJB Cosmetic Consulting, please feel free to join my private group. It's right here on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's called MJB Cosmetic Consulting, Home of the Beauty Babes. That community is a safe place. We can go in there, we can talk about our own issues. It could be a skin issue, it could be a makeup thing. Um, I'm there to help. And also, you're just going to get more information on like specifics when it comes to the cosmetics, like the cosmetics I carry, how they work, what's available. I have promotions that go on. And I also like whole self-care events and all kinds of things. So there's a lot of information that you get if you join that group. So feel free, search that out and join it. But if you like this show, please like or subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click the like buttons, hit the subscribe button, and come back and check us out. I will be bringing more entrepreneurs on, because I love to introduce you to other small businesses so that you know all these great small businesses that are out there. And these women are phenomenal. They're dropping nuggets. And disclaimer, so far, all of the guests have been women, but that doesn't mean there'll always be only women guests on this show. I just want to throw that out there. It has just worked out
Mhm.
this way.
Yeah.
You just never know. A male guest may show up. I don't want it to throw you off if it happens. But but this show is definitely, it is for you. It's girl talk. The topics that we women think about and the things that we're concerned about. I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody have a good night.
Good night. Thanks, Claire.
All right. So we're just gonna go out with a little bit of music, you guys. All right. Have a good night, everybody.